Hi, everybody. This is Todd Krieger. This talk is for the person who betrayed. Anybody who's betrayed, especially if you're going through a process with your partner right now, this video, this talk, this is for you. The name of it is it's called Taking Responsibility Without Shame. And there's some common questions I get about this subject, about how to help be a person in recovery, how to be healing towards myself, how to be healing towards my partner. And these are some common questions I get. 5. I always pick the 5 best. Okay. So the first question, how do I show remorse without getting lost in shame? I've had different versions of that because I've seen people that have been caught. Here you are having a secret and you got caught. The human response is to feel ashamed, of course. It makes sense. It does. But there's a difference between feeling it and getting lost in it. There is a difference between feeling my shame and wallowing in it. Because if I get lost in my shame, if I wallow in my shame, if I engage in a lot of self-flagellation and self-criticalness, I am not there for my partner. Matter of fact, my partner, and I've seen this with the couples I've seen who are dealing with trying to heal from infidelity, my partner already feels alone. And when I do that, my partner feels more alone because my partner might have just expressed a pain, a feeling, and instead of being able to be present, I just get into getting lost in my own shame and self-hatred. Doesn't do any good. So how do I show remorse, which is normal, without getting lost in shame? You realize that you are bigger than your feelings. Sure, you have them, but you have feelings in your body. These feelings are within you. You can experience them, but you don't want to immediately reduce your tension. A lot of us, we live in what I would say a tension reductive lifestyle. As soon as I feel tension, I do something to get rid of it. And believe it or not, beating oneself up is a way to get rid of tension immediately. For the moment, it really doesn't do anything good for the long term. But if I'm feeling these feelings and I start beating myself up, it's almost like, first of all, at least I'm not that bad of a person. I hate myself for it. The other thing is, it takes over. So you're not really just feeling the real pain, nor are you feeling the pain of what you're seeing your partner go through. You need to feel your feelings, realize that you're experiencing that pain, but you aren't your pain. You're bigger than your pain. And so you can share, oh my God, I feel such remorse. Right? So if I look at my partner, like I'm looking at you right now, if you're watching me, or imagine if you're listening to me, looking at you and I'm the person who betrayed you, and I say, I am feeling such remorse for what I did to you. That was just awful. Versus, oh, I hate myself. I just hate myself. There's no connection. I'm in me. I'm focused on me. But whenever I feel really remorseful, I'm looking at you in the eyes. The key really is connection. And reconnecting with you is what helps me say that I'm bigger than my pain, bigger than my feelings. I have it, but I'm staying connected with you. I don't disconnect. So the word is connection. When I'm connecting with you, I could show my remorse. I also want to listen to you, which we'll talk about. I want to hear about you. Maybe I don't, but I do. I don't want to, the part of me that wants no tension, I want to be tension reductive, does not want to hear about your pain. I want you to just get over it. However, that doesn't help because my partner does need to express my partner's pain, assuming that my partner was betrayed and I'm the betrayer. And my partner needs me, maybe others, but definitely me, to be able to tell me what in my case, if it was the situation, which she was experiencing. I stay connected and I go, I'm sorry what I did. I had such remorse. I regret what I did. I have to do way better than this. I have a lot of work to do. Okay. So that kind of goes into the second question I get. What's the difference between blame and responsibility? Blame is a very self-absorbed activity, beating oneself up. It also based on what I would say an incorrect idea that your decisions were the decision to have a secret achieved was made 100% from conscious factors. Not the case. Just not the case. I want people to hear me, especially if any of the betrayed people are listening to this. I'm not trying to give you an excuse. And yes, you made conscious choices, right? Unless you were totally locked out from alcohol or whatever when you did this, you made a conscious choice. And by the way, blacking out from alcohol means you made a conscious choice to overdrink. But in terms of the cheating behavior, the unfaithful behavior, you made a conscious choice to do that. But what's behind, what are the factors that drove you? Not always that conscious. We're going to talk about that in question number 3, but it's not always that conscious. So to blame yourself not only is very self-absorbing and disconnecting from your partner, but it's also based on this incorrect idea that you are to blame as opposed to, I got to take responsibility because what I did was hurtful. I got to connect with me. I think I can connect with my partner. I got to connect and try to understand what were some of the factors that led me to do what I've done. Okay. So that kind of moves us right into the third question of connected, very connected. Third question is, you talk about these unconscious forces, and you talk about things like developmental deficiencies and trauma, and that I wasn't taught how to regulate my emotions when I was younger. How do I connect with and heal my younger parts that have some culpability in me making that choice to cheat? That's really a very important question. How do I connect with and heal my younger parts? Now, of course, I'm telling you, I've learned, and this is where I talk a lot about this, that one of the unconscious factors that contributes to people cheating may be they haven't learned how to attach securely to their parents in some ways. And that usually what that means is that if I was anxiously attached, it means I never could trust that my partner, my parents were there and I was anxious a lot and I constantly needed reassurance. If I'm one of those people, I might be more apt to cheat and look for someone to reassure me that I'm okay, that I'm good, that I'm attractive, that I'm worthy. Likewise, if I grew up in a home where it was like, be strong, be tough, don't tell me you're sad, I'll give you a reason to be sad. That kind of a household. And of course, every household is on a continuum. Some are more extreme than others. But if I came from this and I developed what we call an avoidance attachment style, then of course I grow up and I get in a relationship and I have a really hard time being vulnerable. And so I've been now cut off from some possible ways to heal or solve conflict, solve issues between my partner and I. Or even I have pain that I don't go to with her or him, whatever, whoever my partner is, or other people or good friends or family members or a therapist that can help me deal with it. So it starts to shrink up the options of what do I do with this emotion, with this pain? If I need to downregulate to soothe my stress and how to upregulate to feel more alive. It just shrinks it, which can lead to someone doing the conscious choice of cheating, driven by some unconscious factors. Look, we all have to, there are some, will the struggle of being self-absorbed versus thinking of others and being considerate. That is a choice we all have. There's always the choice between more generous versus more of a hoarder and holding on to what I want and doing what makes me feel good. That tension reductive, I want it, I got to get it, or I don't like it, I got to get rid of it, versus being able to bear attention and explore it, develop that muscle. So there is that we all have to deal with, but those unconscious factors makes it more difficult or easy to do the right thing, to do the respectful thing that can respect our partner. Back to the question, how can I connect with and heal my younger parts? First is to recognize we have them. What's a good question to ask sometimes is, how old do I feel? Did I feel when I reached out to that person? What was the state of mind that I was in? And how old did that state of mind feel? A feel question. It's a feel question. Yeah, I felt like a 14-year-old that got rejected, or I felt like a 6-year-old who was judged, who finally had someone who liked me, or whatever the case. But you want to be able to be aware and be curious and be interested. Become your own archaeological study, looking within. What is it? What are some of my younger parts? And some of the clues to that is, if I grew up in a home where, as a boy or a girl or whatever gender I was, younger, that I was left on my own, how did that person feel? And is that person still alive and well as an adult that's there? Like this, I could think of many examples, but I've had clients who cheated, where one I'm thinking in particular right now, who got really in touch with how she was always felt not enough by observing her dad's behavior towards her mother and her, and always had that. And so she had it when she was 3, 4, 5, 6, and she had it when she was 33, 34, 35, 36. And that was definitely an unconscious part. She wasn't aware of it, didn't connect with it, pushed it aside while she was trying to be the adult in all areas of her life. But those parts can lead to those kinds of choices of cheating, of having a secret or multiple secrets. Tuning in, being aware, and not beating yourself up for it. I have a client that said, I want to get rid of that part of me. No, you don't. That part of you that pushed you to do that, we don't want you to do that anymore, but you need to love that part of you. You need to be interested in that part of you. You need to imagine yourself looking at that part that was hurting, or that was not getting their needs met, and do your best you can to meet those needs. Hug that part, talk to that part, love that part, give that part what it needs to hear, say what that part needs to hear. Spend some time with that part. I remember I had a client many years ago who was abused sexually as a very young child. And I remember she said to me, and it was her idea, not mine. She says, I went to Disneyland today with my 2-year-old. She had no kids. It was her own inner 2-year-old. And she experienced Disneyland as taking the 2-year-old. Okay, that 2-year-old never had anybody taking her to Disneyland. She came from a family where it was all about parents who were very dysregulated, and she was used for their benefit, unfortunately. So she took that 2-year-old to Disneyland, and she didn't go on the Matterhorn or any of those adult rides, Haunted Mansion or whatever. She went on Dumbo the Elephant, and she went to all these kid rides and experienced it as if she was taking the 2-year-old, but also from the 2-year-old herself. That's something that she did. Just find ways to connect with, discover, and love, and take care of that little child. That child is not bad. The child had a burden. We want to take that burden off and heal that child. All right. Question number 4 that I get a lot is, when my partner's hurting or gets triggered, I have a really hard time being there for my partner. How can I regulate my emotions when my partner is hurting? Now, that's very related to number 1, where I said, how do you show remorse without getting lost in shame? Again, You need to pay attention to how old you feel. They're all running together here, you can see, and be that adult person. I'm an adult that can handle my pain. When my partner is hurting and it brings up my own regret, remorse, guilt, shame, maybe even anger because I want my partner to be over it, I got to handle it. I feel it. I don't suppress it, but I put it aside. If I need to breathe, relax, if I have to tell my partner, hey, you're hurting and I want to be there for you, let me just take a few breaths because I want to be there for you rather than just get caught up in my own experience. You could say that. I think it's good to say. But I'm right here with you. Give me a moment. And you breathe and you exhale and let some of that stress go. You also want to remember, don't resist what is. You did what you did. It didn't happen out of a vacuum. You did what you did because there were reasons you did it. You had younger parts or whatever the case may be. You were in a self-absorbed state. You didn't have, you didn't utilize options that hopefully you will use now to help you in the future when you're having a tough time or you need whatever it was behind that choice to cheat. So you want to be able to say, I'm, I want to be that person that's there for you. I am that person that's there for you. I am not getting cocooning into my own pain, not wallowing in my own pain. I'm with you. And you want to make that your intention. That's your intention. Even in neutral moments, you think about it. My intent is to be there for my partner and be big. So just the commitment, the intent, along with doing breathing, exhaling, taking care of yourself in general helps, of course. A lot easier to do this work when you're taking care of yourself, exercising, getting enough sleep the best you can. I know sometimes it's hard when you go through all this, but you do the best you can. And that goes right into question number 5. What's the best way to support my partner's healing? For one, don't wait for your partner to deal with the issues. You go to your partner and bring up the issues. The last thing you oftentimes want to do, especially if you want things tension free, give that up. It's more about connection and less about tension reductiveness. You go to your partner and say, do you want to talk to me about any feelings you're having about my infidelity? Just as an example. Or I see you're having a tough time and I wonder if you want to talk to me about what's going on with you. That's how you support your partner's healing. You are there for your partner. Maybe your partner came from a family where that partner didn't have parents that were there for them very much. And maybe you aren't, but now you are. Okay. And even if they did have parents that were there for them, you haven't been, probably in some important ways. Now's your turn to do that. So you be there. You initiate conversation. Of course, if your partner initiates, then you do what I talked about in number 4. You regulate your emotions, you breathe, you exhale, you don't insist on no tension. So just get over it. No, you actually give your partner the message that no matter what I'm feeling, I can handle it. And I'm going to be very tuned into you and very patient. And I understand that what you're going through is really very difficult and might take a while. And I'm with you and I'll hold your hand metaphorically or literally every step of the way. I'm with you. That's the best way to support your partner's healing. And of course, the addendum to that is continue to work on your own healing. That's an important way as well. Support your partner's healing. So those are the 5 answers to the 5 questions that I thought were probably most important for you as the person who did the betraying, or if you are the person who betrayed and listened to this, I hope you got something out of this, even maybe felt some validation from this. So I know it's a challenging road, but it's a road that most of us can do if we are deliberate and intentional and we want to be that mature, healthy person. So thanks for listening. This is Todd Krieger, making the world safe for love.